The day my wife asked me to stop taking care of things. I thought she was joking. I mean, how do you just stop being the person who keeps everything running? The bills, the house, the meals, the schedules. It wasn't some hobby I picked up, it was survival. But when she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You act like you're the only one who does anything around here. Maybe if you stopped trying to control everything, I could actually help." Something in me snapped. So I did exactly what she asked. I stopped completely. And what followed wasn't pretty, it was chaos, eye-opening, and maybe the best thing that ever happened to our marriage. But I'll let you decide, was I wrong for teaching her that lesson? It all started 3 years into our marriage. I'm Mark, 32, and my wife Claire is 30. We met at a friend's party, fell in love fast, and got married even faster. At first things were easy. She was the creative, free-spirited one, and I was the planner, the steady one. It worked. She brought the fun, I brought the order. But over time that balance started to feel one-sided. I wasn't just the steady one, I was the responsible one, for everything. You know, the kind of person who remembers every bill, every appointment, every deadline. Yeah, that was me. I managed our finances, did the grocery runs, handled car maintenance, booked doctor appointments, paid rent, fixed broken shelves, and even coordinated holidays. Claire would always say, "You're just better at it than me." Or, "You love organizing, I just mess it up." I told myself that was fine. It's not like I minded doing it. I liked being dependable. But little by little that dependability turned into something heavier. It wasn't just responsibility. It was pressure. Because if I didn't do it, no one would. And that kind of silent pressure builds until it explodes. The cracks started showing last year. Claire lost her job at a marketing firm, and we decided she'd take a few months off to figure out her next step. I supported it fully. Honestly, I thought maybe it'd give her time to find something that really made her happy. But instead, her time off turned into her sleeping in late, binge, watching shows, and making half-hearted attempts at researching career ideas. Meanwhile, I was working longer hours to cover the bills, still doing all the house stuff, and trying not to explode every time she left her dishes on the couch. I remember one Saturday morning. I was cleaning the kitchen, paying the electricity bill, and planning the week's groceries, while Claire sat on the sofa scrolling through her phone. I said, "Hey, can you at least unload the dishwasher?" And she sighed. "Can't you do it? You always do it better anyway." That line, "You always do it better." I swear, it was like a punch to the gut. Because it wasn't a compliment. It was an excuse. I wasn't doing things better, I was just doing them because she wouldn't. We argued that day. Our first big one in a while. I told her I felt like I was carrying both of us. She accused me of keeping score. And said I made her feel like a child. I told her if she wanted to feel like an adult, maybe she could act like one. Not my proudest moment, but I was exhausted. That's when she said it. "Maybe if you stopped taking care of everything, I'd have the chance to show I can." And that's when the idea hit me. I thought, fine, let's see. Let's see what happens when I stop being the safety net. No reminders. No fixes, no cleaning up behind her. She want her experience what that actually means. So the next Monday, I stopped. At first, it was subtle. I didn't pay the water bill that week. I didn't make the grocery list or do laundry. When the trash overflowed, I left it. When dishes piled up, I ignored them. I still did my job and my part. But only my half. If it wasn't mine, it stayed undone. The first few days were almost funny. Claire didn't notice much. Busy. She grabbed takeout, wore old clothes because laundry slipped her mind, and used the same mug 3 times. By the end of the week, the kitchen smelled like spoiled food, and the sink looked like a science experiment. She started getting frustrated. "Why is everything such a mess lately?" she asked one night. I shrugged. "I guess nobody's been cleaning." She frowned. "Well, you're usually the one who." She stopped mid-sentence, realizing what she was about to say. That was the first crack in her pride. The real test came the next week when she got a letter. Our internet bill was overdue, and the service was about to be cut off. She came storming into the living room. "Mark, did you forget to pay this?" I looked up from my laptop. "No, I didn't forget. I just thought you'd handle it this time." Her expression froze. I didn't know it was due." "Right," I said, keeping my tone even. "Because I always handle it. You said you wanted me to stop taking care of things? Remember?" That night was quiet. She didn't argue. She just sat there, clearly uncomfortable, as I calmly read a book while the pile of unopened mail sat on the counter. By week 3, the house looked like something out of a reality show. Dust everywhere, no clean towels, fridge half empty. I'd cook for myself, clean my dishes, and leave hers untouched. She'd complain about having nothing to wear or no food, and I'd just nod. Yeah. It's rough when no one's taking care of things. But something changed after that. One morning, I woke up to the sound of vacuuming. Claire was cleaning, actually cleaning. She'd made a grocery list, was sorting laundry, and even called the water company about a leak I'd been ignoring. It was like watching a switch flip. That evening, she came to me looking worn out and said, "I didn't realize how much you do." Her voice cracked a little. "It's exhausting." I didn't gloat, though every part of me wanted to. Instead I said, "It's not about doing everything. It's about both of us caring enough to keep things going." She nodded, eyes wet. "I get it now. I thought you were just trying to control everything. I didn't see that you were just trying to hold it all together." It would be great if that was the end of it, but it wasn't that easy. Old habits die hard. For a few weeks, things were better. She helped out, we communicated more. But then little slips started happening again. Missed chores, unpaid bills, clutter. And one night I found myself doing dishes alone while she scrolled through her phone again. I felt the old frustration bubbling up. So that's the situation I was in? I told myself. Do I let things go back to how they were, or do I stand my ground? Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to think about it. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have taken over again for the sake of peace? Or would you have forced your partner to finally share the load? Seriously, pause and tell me in the comments. I want to know. Alright, here's what I did. The next day, I sat Claire down. I told her I loved her, but I couldn't go back to being the only one holding things up. I said, "We either do this together, or we don't do it at all." She looked surprised, even a little scared, but I stayed firm. I explained how being the caretaker had stopped feeling like love, it felt like parenthood. And I didn't marry someone to raise them. That hit hard. She didn't say anything at first, but later that night, she came to me with something unexpected, a schedule. A literal list of shared responsibilities. She said, "I want to pull my weight. But I need help getting organized at least for a while." That's when I realized the real problem wasn't laziness. It was avoidance. She'd convinced herself she wasn't good at adult stuff, because she never had to be. So we started small. She handled groceries and half the bills, I handled the rest. Slowly, she got better at managing things. She even started meal prepping, which was something I never had time for. It wasn't perfect. She still forgot things sometimes, and I still got impatient. But there was progress, real noticeable progress. And over time, something amazing happened. I stopped feeling like her caretaker, and she stopped feeling like a burden. One night, about 3 months after the experiment, we were cooking dinner together. Music playing, pasta boiling, both of us laughing. Out of nowhere, she said, "You know, I used to think partnership meant love and affection. I never realized it also means work. Real, boring, unromantic work." I smiled. Yeah. Turns out love isn't just about big gestures. It's about the little ones that keep life moving. She grinned. Like paying the water bill on time. Exactly back, that moment felt like the real turning point. Not the weeks of silent protest or the messy house, but that quiet dinner where we finally got it. Partnership isn't about one person keeping things afloat, it's about both people rowing the same boat. Now, months later, things are still good. We have our routines, our shared lists, our little reminders on the fridge. She even jokes about how she used to think adulting was optional. Sometimes, when she catches me starting to take over too much again, she'll stop me and say, "Don't you dare start taking care of everything again." And honestly, that's the best thing she could say. So yeah, she asked me to stop taking care of things, and I did. It wasn't revenge, it was a wake-up call for both of us. She learned how much effort goes into keeping a life together. And I learned that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting your partner to step up too. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone watching, it's there's love isn't proved by doing everything for someone. It's proved by doing something together. So what do you think? Was I wrong for stepping back and letting her see what partnership really looks like? Or was that exactly what we needed? Like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more stories like this, and share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all in the next story.